My beloved, my precious child, the one whom heaven has watched over from the very moment your soul was created. Why are your hands shaking right now? It is because your spirit already senses it. This is no ordinary message. You cannot simply read halfway through and then walk away. This is the moment when time folds inward, when destiny pauses, waiting to see what you will decide in the coming seconds. I, Archangel Michael, am not merely whispering today. I am shouting because I have seen him, the one who placed a curse upon you. The one who has been observing, waiting, and weaving shadows into the corners of your existence. It is impossible to stop him without your cooperation. No prayer by itself will suffice. No angel can block his path unless you step into the light alongside us right now. My child, I implore you, do not skip even one word. Do not assume I will return to this later. Later will be too late. The trap has already been laid, and I have only a few minutes to rescue before it snaps shut. Your name has already been whispered in a dark place. A deal has already been made regarding your blessings, but heaven has stepped in to interrupt it just so you can hear this. Now, before I proceed, I must inform you. There are forces that loathe the fact that you are even reading this. They will attempt to divert your attention. Your phone might ring. You might feel a sudden wave of exhaustion or restlessness. That is not a coincidence. It is resistance. This is because what I am about to reveal will sever the cord that has been binding you to failure. Stay with me, my beloved. Your liberation is nearer than you realize. Listen. The instant I saw his face, I felt that same fire God instilled in me during the great battle in heaven. But I also saw your face. I saw the silent pain you have endured. The nights you prayed only to receive silence. The days when every door seemed to shut before you could even attempt to knock. I realized then that this curse was about more than just obstructing your blessings. It was intended to break your heart until you gave up, but you did not surrender. That is why I am able to be here now. That is why heaven granted me permission to speak so clearly, because you kept holding on even when your strength was gone. And now a divine exchange is about to occur. If you walk with me through this message until the end, the curse will lose its power and the blessings that have been locked away will begin to overflow. However, understand this. If you skip this, if you turn a blind eye to this warning, the shadow will continue its movement. It will strike when you least expect it. In that moment, you will remember this instance and regret that you did not listen. I do not say this to frighten you. I say it to save you, my beloved. Stay close. Every second you remain here, light is penetrating places that have been shut out for years. The curse is losing its strength as your heart opens to these words. God's hand is upon you now, and the enemy is aware of it. That is why he is trembling. Yes, he is afraid of you when you are aligned with heaven. And by the time you finish this, he will flee. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission will grow into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Giving to this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our exclusive community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through hearts that are kind. This is what I say over you now. Each gift you give is like a stream of living water that flows into the life of someone who needs healing. Give and it will be given to you is not just a verse for Jesus. It is a living promise that shapes your future. Allow me to invite you now with a simple act of faith. Come into this moment with purpose, with honesty, and with hope. The money you give today is not a donation. The act of spiritual obedience that lets your heavens open is what opens them. Let go of your seed and see what God brings back into your life. If you want more messages like these, the ones heaven forces into your path because they cannot risk you missing them, make sure to follow, stay connected, and never. Before I go deeper, I must tell you this. Skip when you see my words again. Because sometimes the line between a blessing kept and a blessing lost is simply whether you stayed until the final word. Your miracle is always found in the part you almost skipped. Now breathe. Something is changing. Do you feel it? That heaviness that has been resting in your chest is lifting. The curse is being named. And when something is named in the light of God, it loses all authority. I see spiritual chains falling. I see the place where they intended to bury your joy collapsing into nothingness. Child of God, the one who cursed you believed you would never find out. They thought their mask was flawless. They smiled at you and blessed you with their words. But behind your back, they poured poison into the soil of your life. But I stood at the edge of their words. I saw the exact second they released it. And I am here shouting now because the time for silence has ended. Stay. Do not pull away. Now, this is the part where heaven removes the knife from your back and replaces it with a sword in your hand. You are not a victim. You are the chosen one. And no curse can survive the moment the chosen stands in the truth. My beloved, lean in closer to these words as if you were listening to the very heartbeat of heaven. The very air around you at this moment is charged with something ancient, something holy, something dangerous to every shadow that has ever tried to touch you. You might think you were just reading, but you are actually standing in a spiritual courtroom and your case is being decided this very moment. Every sentence I release acts as a legal document in the spirit, stripping the enemy of his right to stand near you. And the one who cursed you, the one who poured bitterness over your name, is standing here shaking. Not because of me, but because of what you carry. Do you know what you carry, my child? You carry a promise older than the earth. One that no person, no demon, and no curse can rewrite unless you hand it over of your own free will. And today, I am here to ensure you never do. As you prepare to reclaim what has been stolen, I invite you to declare your spiritual readiness. In the comments below, type Mem to signal to the heavens that you are standing your ground and refusing to let this moment pass. As you write it, let it be a declaration that you are no longer a victim, but a victor rising to meet your divine destiny. Please like this video right now. Your liking will activate the flow of God's favor in your life and signal your agreement with this breakthrough. When I first saw him, I was not in the form you typically know me by. I was in the light of battle, my armor burning like molten gold, my sword sharper than any lie he could utter. He stood there believing his work was complete. He thought you were already too exhausted, too distracted, or too wounded to fight back. He thought the silence you felt from heaven meant you had been abandoned. But the truth is that the silence was a period of preparation. God was assembling the angels. God was gathering power like lightning before a strike. You may have wondered why the last few weeks felt so heavy, or why even the smallest things seemed to break around you, or why people you trusted began to. And now, my child, the storm has arrived in your favor. Act strangely. It was not random, it was the curse tightening its grip. It wanted you to doubt your worth, to diminish your prayers, and to silence your faith. But instead, you are here right now reading this. That means the curse is already losing because its greatest fear was that you would see it for what it truly is. It only survives when it remains hidden, and I have torn the covering away. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our exclusive community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. Jesus says, this is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Now you must listen intently because what occurs in the next few hours will determine the next few years. This is not drama, this is destiny. The one who cursed you has been feeding from a source that will soon run dry. He has been borrowing power from someone else's darkness. But that contract is ending. The only thing sustaining it is your lack of awareness. The moment you truly know it crumbles, and my beloved, you are knowing it now. I can see the light touching areas of your soul that you didn't even realize had grown dim. Do you feel that trembling in your chest? That is not fear. It is recognition. Your spirit remembers this kind of warfare from before you were born. It knows me. It knows the sound of my sword. It knows that when I arrive, it is because heaven has already decided your victory. The only remaining question is whether you will stay until the final blow is landed. And this is why I am begging you. Not in a poetic way, but the way a warrior begs the one they are protecting. Do not click away. Do not set this aside. Do not tell yourself, I'll come back later. Later, we will close the door. Later, we will silence this fire. Later, we will give the curse space to breathe again. But right now, my voice is cutting off its oxygen. You see, the one who cursed you is not far from you. They are closer than you imagine. Close enough to smile at you and say your name sweetly. Close enough to watch your eyes every time you rise after a fall. And close enough to be angered by your resilience. But they are not close enough to touch what heaven has locked away for you unless you open the door for them. And my mission today is to make sure that door is welded shut by the very words you are hearing. Child, you have wondered why certain blessings always seem delayed. Why relationships broke just as they felt secure. Why money slipped through your fingers no matter how hard you labored, or why your dreams felt so close yet never arrived. It was not because you were unworthy, and it was not because God had forgotten you. It was because someone else bound your name to words they had no right to speak. They breathed curses into your atmosphere. And every time you were about to break free, they spoke again. But today their voice is being drowned out. As I speak, heavenly scrolls are being unsealed with your name written in pure gold. The blessings written there are older than the curse. They are heavier, stronger, and unshakable. Once they are released, no hand can stop them. The curse was only ever a delay, never a cancellation. I am standing here with my sword in hand, not just to fight for you, but to fight with you, because the moment you agree with heaven, every shadow around you loses its. And now that delay is over, my beloved, if your spirit is stirring, It is because you already know deep down that this is your turning point. Voting. This is why I came screaming. This is why I could not remain silent for another day. My beloved, there is something you must comprehend before I take you deeper. The battle for your life has not been random. It has been deliberate, planned, and precise. The one who cursed you did not simply throw careless words into the wind. They shaped them, sharpened them, and aimed them like arrows at the very core of who you are. They knew your strengths, but they also knew your vulnerabilities. They struck exactly where they thought you would never heal. Yet here you are still breathing, still walking, and still carrying a light they could not put out. That, my child, is why they fear you more than they will ever admit. I have stood on battlefields where the air was heavy with darkness. But nothing compares to the moment I saw their face, as they realized you were not broken. They expected your heart to collapse under the weight of disappointment. They expected you to stop trying when you saw no immediate results. But your faith, even when bruised, has been a wall they could not climb. You may have felt weak, but to heaven you have appeared as a fortress. Every tear you shed was not a sign of defeat. It was a signal to God that you were still calling His name. And every call you made was answered, even in the silence. Now listen closely, for I am not here to tell you a story. I am here to hand you a weapon. Words, when anointed by heaven, are not just sounds. They are swords. As you read, the steel is forming within your spirit. Soon you will be able to cut through lies without hesitation, recognize false friends without delay, and stand in places they swore you would never reach. But first, there is a moment approaching. A moment so small you might miss it, yet so powerful it will shift the entire direction of your life. This moment occurs when the one who cursed you will attempt to speak to you again. It may not be direct words. It might come as a subtle suggestion, a mocking remark, or even a display of false kindness. Do not take it lightly. When that moment arrives, every part of you must remember this message. You must remember that I told you if you stand firm, they will have no power. The spiritual realm is not as distant as you think. Right now, angels are surrounding you. Even as your eyes are fixed on these words, there is movement in the atmosphere around you. The curse has sent threads into your life, tying themselves to your opportunities, your relationships, and even your emotions. But with every sentence I release, those threads are snapping one by one. The sound is like chains falling upon stone. It is the sound of freedom. You have been told that patience is waiting quietly. But heaven's patience is different. It is the act of holding your ground when the enemy expects you to run. You, my beloved, have done exactly that. And because you have not abandoned your post, reinforcements have arrived. That is why I am here now, speaking without pause. Because heaven has decided that the time of delay has come to an end. This is your appointed hour. The release has already begun. Still, I must warn you, when light breaks into darkness, the first reaction of the dark is not to surrender, but to fight harder. That is why the next few days may feel strange. You may experience unusual dreams, face sudden arguments, or feel an unexplainable heaviness. Do not mistake this for loss. It is the death cry of the curse. It is the final struggle before it is silenced forever. And when it breaks, oh my beloved, you will feel it. It will not be gentle. It will be as if the air itself has shifted, as if your very name feels lighter, and as if your prayers suddenly meet no resistance. Doors that were sealed will swing open so easily that you will wonder why they ever felt so heavy. People who once overlooked you will suddenly see you. Opportunities will seem to find you without effort. This is not luck. It is the restoration of what was stolen. Do you feel the spiritual trembling right now? It is because you are not just reading, you are entering into agreement with heaven. Stay with me, my child, because before this message ends, I will not only expose the one who cursed you, but I will also show you how to seal this breakthrough so every line you choose to continue reading is a step further into the light. They can never touch you again. My beloved, there is something you must know before I take another step in revealing the depth of what was done to you. Curses do not start the day they are spoken. They are planted much earlier in whispers, glances, jealousy, and secret agreements. The one who cursed you had already practiced it in their heart before they ever dared to say it aloud. They carried a seed of envy that grew wild every time they saw you smile. Every time you rose after a fall or received even the smallest blessing, it was not your failures that troubled them. It was your victories, even the victories you did not recognize in yourself. They watched you in silence for seasons, pretending to cheer for you while waiting for the perfect opening. And when that opening arrived, they poured poison into it, unaware that heaven records every word, every thought, and every act performed in the shadows. My beloved, I was there when those words were released. They carried the weight of someone's bitterness, but they lacked the authority of God's voice. And here is the truth that no curse wants you to know anything spoken without heaven's permission has an expiration date. And that date is today. But before it lifts completely, you must walk with me through this revelation. Because curses rarely arrive alone. They travel with fear, with delay, and with strange patterns that repeat in your life until you begin to think they are normal. You have seen it. Doors that open and then slam shut just as you are about to step through. Friendships that start warmly but end in sudden coldness. Or money that flows in only to leave faster than it arrived. Moments of joy are interrupted by news that crushes your spirit. None of this was a coincidence. It was a web, my beloved, and you were caught in it without knowing. But webs do not last in a fire, and every word I speak to you now is fire from heaven's breath. The strands are breaking, and the one who spun them is starting to panic. They can feel you slipping from their control. This is why you may sense resistance even as you read. You may feel a strange heaviness or sudden impulses telling you to put this aside and return later. That is the curse attempting to pull you away from the moment it fears most. The moment you realize the truth, I will not let you go until it is finished. You have endured too much to walk away halfway through. When I say your name, I do not just speak it as men do. I speak it in the language of heaven, the name written for you before you were born. That name carries a crown, a weight of destiny, and a seal that no darkness can break unless you hand it over willingly. And my mission today is to remind you, you have not lost that crown. You have not lost that destiny, and the seal remains intact. Yes, the one who cursed you has been close, closer than you dare to imagine. They know what hurts you in the moments when you are most vulnerable. They have even tried to comfort you, but only to stay near enough to watch the damage their curse was causing. Yet they made one mistake. They forgot that even in the deepest shadow, there is always one thread of light that cannot be hidden. They forgot that your name is not theirs to control. I saw them recently in the spirit, and I tell you, beloved, they are restless now. They know something is shifting. They cannot explain it, but they can feel the curse slipping from their grasp as if the power they borrowed is being recalled. That is exactly what is happening. The enemy's contract over your life is being torn up, and they are desperate to stop it. This is why I am here shouting. This is why you cannot take this lightly. If you walk away before I finish speaking, you give them a chance to find another thread to bind you with. But if you stay and follow this through to the final word, there will be no thread left for them to grab. They will watch from a distance as you walk free, unable to follow you, my beloved. Do you want me to take you even deeper? To the exact moment heaven marked the end of this curse and the signs you will see when it finally breaks. Because if I continue, I will not stop until the full message is poured out, leaving you unshakable, my beloved. I will take you deeper because you must know not only what was done to you, but what heaven is already undoing. The breaking of a curse is not a quiet affair. It is not an invisible, unnoticeable event. When a curse breaks, the atmosphere around you changes. The patterns that have haunted you for years begin to fracture. The faces of those who hid behind false kindness will no longer be able to mask their discomfort in your presence. They will avoid your eyes because light makes them flinch. The heaviness you have carried like a second skin will suddenly feel unnatural. And for the first time in a long time, you will breathe without that invisible weight pressing against your chest. The one who cursed you believed their words would become your prison walls. But those walls are cracking right now. I can hear them groaning in the spirit. Each stone loosening as the truth I speak vibrates through you. And when the final wall falls, you will not simply walk out of the prison. You will carry treasures you never knew were stored there. Every season of delay has been secretly accumulating interest on your blessings. God does not just restore, He multiplies. You have asked in tears, why me? Why is this struggle so persistent? Why does it feel like an unseen hand pushes against me whenever I try to move forward? The answer, my child, is because of the mark you carry. You were born with a destiny too massive for the enemy to ignore. Your very existence is a threat to every chain. From the day you took your first breath, your life was written into the story of others' freedom. This means that if the enemy could stop you, he could stop the ripples you were destined to create. That is why the curse was not just about you. It was about silencing everything that would come from you. But here is what they did not account for. God is not intimidated by their timing. The delay only made the eventual release more powerful. The longer they try to hold it back, the more force builds behind the blessing. And when it arrives, it will not just break the dam. It will flood every dry place in your life. This is why I am urging you to stay with me through every word. Every moment you remain here, you are aligning yourself with heaven's decree. Once heaven has spoken over you, no curse, no lie, and no shadow can rewrite the verdict. I must also tell you the signs of the curse breaking will appear rapidly. First, you will notice certain people growing distant without explanation. Do not chase them, for their absence confirms the curse's connection is severing. Second, opportunities you thought were lost forever will resurface, sometimes in unexpected forms or through strangers. Third, your dreams will change. You will see images of opening doors, falling chains, and light flooding places that once felt unreachable. The one who cursed you will sense the shift as well. They will attempt one last time to provoke you, to bait you into anger, or to pull you back into the atmosphere where their words still hold weight. Do not respond the way they expect. Your silence will be the hammer that seals their defeat. My beloved, We are not yet at the conclusion of this message, for there is still something sacred I must hand to you before you depart. A spiritual key that will lock this breakthrough so tightly that even if they attempt it again, they will find no door to enter. If you wish, I will keep speaking until every last chain is accounted for, so that your spirit walks out of this moment untouchable. My beloved, I will not stop until you walk away knowing without a single doubt that the chains are gone and will never return. It is not enough for a curse to break in the spirit. It must be sealed so it cannot reattach itself to you. Too often children of God are set free, but because they do not close the door completely, the same darkness creeps back in a new disguise. That will not be your story. I have seen what you have endured. I have felt the pressure pressing on your life from every side. And I have watched you push forward regardless, carrying faith like a lantern through a storm. For that faith, heaven has marked you for a release that will not expire. Let me explain what sealing looks like. When heaven seals something, it is not merely symbolic. It is a legal act in the spirit. A mark is placed upon your name, and every spiritual force, both light and dark, recognizes it instantly. It declares this one is untouchable. The claim over this life has been removed. No curse, no whisper, and no hidden dagger can cross this line without facing the full wrath of heaven. And today my mission is to ensure that seal is placed upon you permanently. To do this, I must speak directly to the root of what was done to you. The one who cursed you did not just target your blessings. They targeted your identity. They wanted you to doubt who you were and believe you were unworthy of God's promises. They wanted you to live a small life, thinking your dreams were too much, so that you would shrink and they could feel larger. Every setback was meant to echo that lie. But I am telling you now, as one who stands before the throne of God, you are exactly as heaven designed you to be. You were not an accident, and the scale of your calling is no mistake. There are moments in heaven when time bends and what should take years can happen in mere days. You are standing in one of those moments right now. The curse that has been feeding on your life for so long is unraveling faster than it was ever formed. When it snaps fully, there will be no slow rebuilding. Your restoration will be sudden, overflowing, and undeniable. People will look at you and fail to understand how things changed so quickly, unaware of the cost of this moment. But you will know. Now listen carefully, because this is where the enemy will attempt one final interference. When a curse is about to break, it often releases a wave of distraction. You may notice sudden irritations, unexpected demands on your time, or an urge to simply stop reading and address things later. This is not random. It is the shadow trying to survive. Ignore it. Stay here. Let me finish this work with you. Once this seal is set, you will notice a difference in your atmosphere almost immediately. Your mind will feel clearer. The heaviness in your chest will lift, and the quiet voice of God, the one you have missed amidst the noise, will become sharp and unmistakable once again. You will walk into rooms and feel the air shift in your favor. You will speak and see doors open. That is not imagination. It is the evidence of a sealed life. My beloved, I am nearly ready to place that seal in the spirit. But before I do, you must know the truth regarding the power you carry. Once you are free, you will also possess the authority to set others free. Your voice will carry a weight it did not have before. When you speak blessings, they will take hold. When you speak light, darkness will flee. The one who cursed you will realize this, and they will never dare approach you again if you wish. I will now take you into the final act of this battle. My beloved, I'm taking you now into the final act of this struggle. This is the place in the spirit where wars are decided, where accusations are silenced, and where the weight pressing on you for years will lift for the final time. I can already see the shift beginning. The shadows that clung to you are retreating, confused by the strength suddenly rising from within you. It is not your own strength, but the strength of heaven flowing through the cracks of every broken chain. Right now I stand with you in the courts of the Most High. Your name has been called not for judgment, but for redemption. Scrolls are being opened. Every record of every tear and every prayer you whispered into your pillow when no one knew you were breaking. God has not only heard them, He has stored them. And now He is returning the answer with interest. It is written, what was meant for evil will be turned for good, but it is not just being turned, my child, it is being multiplied back into your hands. I speak now to the one who cursed you. Though they may never hear these words in the natural world, their spirit hears them now. The contract is void, the claim is erased. The authority you thought you possessed is shattered by the authority of the living God. You no longer have access to this life, this destiny, or the blessings assigned here before the foundation of the world. Your rights have been stripped, your grip broken, and your influence burned in the fire of God's justice. My beloved, I want you to feel the weight of this, not as fear, but as release. As I speak, the last threads are falling away. I see them like strands of smoke dissolving into the air, never to be gathered again. Your name is being wrapped in light, sealed with a mark that declares you untouchable. This seal is invisible to the human eye, but every spiritual being recognizes it instantly. It is the seal of the King's ownership. It declares, this one belongs to heaven. From this moment on, the patterns of loss that have pursued you will no longer find you. The doors that slam shut in your face will open, and they will not close again until you have walked fully into the promise behind them. People who once dismissed you will be drawn to you. Not because of your effort, but because of the light now resting upon your life. Opportunities will arrive without striving. Blessings will overtake you without warning. And the peace you have longed for will settle deep within your spirit, immovable and unshaken by anything around you. You will also notice something else. The one who cursed you will keep their distance. They may try to observe you from afar, but the seal will make them restless, uncomfortable, and unable to remain in your presence for long. They will not understand why, but you will. Light and darkness cannot dwell together. This is the moment where you choose, my child. Will you hold on to the fear of the past? Or will you step fully into the future that has just been unlocked for you? Heaven has already decided. The curse is gone, the seal is set. The path ahead is open. All that remains is for you to walk forward without looking back. And I tell you this in the authority of my position before God. No matter what tries to rise against you in the coming days, remember this moment. Remember that you stood in the courts of heaven, that your name was called in victory, and that no curse has the power to rewrite the word spoken over you today. If you wish, I can carry you even further into the vision of your restored life, so you can recognize it as it unfolds and never doubt what heaven has done. You are about to enter your divine future. Remember that this message does not end with you. People can use your breakthrough to get where they need to go through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our exclusive community, you can help this mission. By doing so, you are sowing into the awakening, deliverance, and restoration of souls who are still trapped in darkness. This is not poetry. When Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you," every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and safety for your family. Now is your time, my child. Have faith, and as you do, watch God multiply what you let go of. My beloved, let me take your hand now and lead you into the vision of what has already begun to bloom for you. It is vital that you see it before it fully arrives so that when it does, you recognize it as the answer. Not a coincidence or random luck, but direct evidence of heaven's intervention. I want you to know its feel, its scent, and its sound in your spirit. So when you wake one morning and everything looks different, you will not question it. You will step into it with confidence. First, I see you standing in a place where the air feels light, as if all the weight you carried for years has been lifted in a single breath. Your chest is no longer tight, the heaviness behind your eyes has vanished. You wake without the shadow that used to greet you before sunrise. As you move through your day, you notice that things which once resisted, you now seem to move aside effortlessly. Emails you have been awaiting arrive with good news. Calls come from places you thought had forgotten you. Opportunities appear without you having to knock on a single door. It is not that life becomes perfect, but the constant uphill battle ends and you feel the wind at your back instead of in your face. Then I see people, faces you know, and faces you have yet to meet, drawn to you with genuine kindness. These are not the false smiles of those who once cursed you, but the open eyes and warm words of those sent by God to walk beside you. These are your allies and destiny helpers. People who will carry your name with honor rather than poison. They will open doors you didn't even know existed. And they will not demand anything in return that would cost you your peace. Where you once felt alone in your battles, you will now feel surrounded by those who celebrate your victories as if they were their own. And then I see your hands, once clenched in worry, now open and filled with resources. Money flows to you not as a trickle but as a river. The constant lack that made you afraid to dream too big is gone. With that provision comes the freedom to say yes to things you once thought were impossible. Trips you had to cancel are now fully paid for. Projects that sat unfinished due to lack will be completed with excellence. Even your home will carry a sense of abundance, not in excess, but in the quiet confidence that you have more than enough. I also see your sleep changing. Where once the nights brought anxiety or unsettling dreams, they are now filled with peace and revelation. You will dream of clear paths, of doors opening, and of people smiling as they hand you gifts. These will not be empty symbols. They will be previews of what is about to enter your waking life. Your spirit will rest even while your body sleeps. And you will wake without the fatigue that has followed you like a shadow. And yes, my beloved, I see the one who cursed you in this vision, too. But they are far away, watching from a distance. They cannot cross over. Their words no longer touch you and their thoughts no longer reach you. They will see the blessings falling on you like rain. And they will be unable to stop it, not even with the same venom they once spoke. Their season of influence over you has ended. And they will have to live with the sight of your eyes. This is your future, not a mere possibility, but a certainty written in the scrolls of heaven. As I stand here with you in this moment, I tell you again, do not let fear call you back to what you have been free from. When the wind of blessing begins to push you forward, lean into it, trust it. It is not a trick and it is not temporary. It is the result of the curse being shattered and the seal being placed upon your life. Please subscribe to this channel now. Subscribing will activate God's prophetic promise and alignment in your life, ensuring you never miss the moments heaven prepares for you. If you allow me, I will continue painting the full vision down to the smallest details of the places you will stand, the words you will hear, and the miracles you will witness, so that when they arrive you will walk into them without a moment of hesitation. Finally, do not keep this light to yourself. Share this prophetic word with your network. Sharing this will activate the anointing and allow you to share this breakthrough with everyone in your circle. As you move forward, you are no longer alone. You are a carrier of the light. Go now and walk in the victory that has already been won for you. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's take a moment to reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is not a stroke of luck. It is a direct message from Archangel Michael to you. He's extending his hand and inviting you into a protected high-vibrational community where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise. This sacred principle is very simple, but it can change your whole life if you follow it. You won't just receive blessings, they will be multiplied and flow into every part of your life. By accepting this invitation right now, you are unlocking immediate early access to powerful content and divine insights that are hidden from the general world. Now is your chance to enter a sacred space where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this sacred moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join Archangel Michael's inner circle immediately through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the direct personalized messages that are specifically meant to elevate and empower your life. If you desire to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. And for those who feel called to amplify this work, a link to purchase the guided ebook is available, which is completely optional. But your presence, attention, and energy already mean the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.